Hi, it's Ricky of Moshville Times here once again. Now, tonight we have a Birmingham-based aggressive metal band, Callous Hands. Some would say that Birmingham's the home of metal, so what better place to form an aggressive heavy metal band? So if you like your metal with groove, intensity and aggression, like Lamb of God and Pantera, then you can't go far wrong with Callous Hands. So tonight we've got guitarist Eddie and Jim, we've got bassist Kyle, and we've got vocalist Kieran. We've got the drummer Adam as well. Nearly forgot about him there. You always forget about the drummer anyway. You know there's somebody to pick up still when you leave the gig out in the van and stuff like that. We went, shit, forgot the So how are you guys doing? It must be exciting times for you guys. How are you all doing?
Yeah, all good. We're chuffed with the release. It's about time it came out. We've had it for a while, but you can't rush a good thing.
That's exactly it. I do have a number of questions tonight, and obviously the main focus is going to be the EP. But before we start the interview, I have to ask, about 1.5 minutes into the Psycho Remains, after the opening piano and 1.5 minutes and stuff like that, with Kieran, I'm sure it's something like your waking call that you shout, but immediately after that, who wrote that riff? You know, the one that's really low? Who wrote it?
So I wrote the high-end guitar that you can hear in there, and I said to the lads, put a nice little beat and groove under this.
Yes.
And then Jim, I think it was Jim and Adam, I think that the three of them put their heads together and just started jamming something out.
Yeah.
And then it just came together like that, and then the vocals went in after, and that's how it came to be.
Because I'll tell you, see, when I heard it first, I went, that's fucking death metal. I was like, my boys, how you doing, man? How you doing?
We sprinkle a bit of everything in there.
That's probably my influence a bit.
Well, it immediately caught my attention because, as you can probably gather, I've got a radio show on a Thursday night and I play extreme metal, so death metal is my thing. So when I heard that riff, I was like, oh, I stopped. I was writing my questions and things like that, but when I heard that, I was like, oh, I had to repeat it and listen to it again, so well done, fair play. Sorry, you were going to say?
So thank you.
All right. But when doing my research for this, I noticed that Moshville Times, I've interviewed you a couple of times. I think Ian Purdy, the editor, got you a Bloodstock. I didn't really find many other interviews for the band, so forgive me for asking. So how did Callous Hands come into being, and how easy, whose idea was it to form the band, and how easy or difficult was it to get the right members in? Because I think you're a stable lineup for a couple of years now, is that right?
Yeah. Well, I left the Marines about 5 or 6 years ago now, and me and Eddie had been in a band prior to that. When we was like 17, 18, weren't we?
Yeah, I was in college. It was a couple of lads I went to college with, and the vocalist in that band was a school friend of Kieran. They're really good mates. So Kieran was playing drums in that band.
Yeah, cool. And then I joined the local gym. Well, not really that local, to be honest, but I joined a gym, and I was on a treadmill and I seen Eddie over doing some weights, so I just went over to him and we got chatting again and seeing each other in a few years. And are you still playing music? Oh yeah, a little bit. Yeah, me too. Like, I want to get back into it.
Then we go for a jam later that day.
Yeah, we went for a jam that day. Yeah.
I got home, I rang him up. I was like, "Come on, then let's go for a jam then."
I thought you were going to say, like, you saw him over the other side of the gym and you went, oh, how are you doing? I'm going over
there. Pretty much.
So you two guys formed the band then. So how did you get Adam and James and Kyle then?
So Kieran was going travelling, Nepal and Bali and over that way. Was it about a month, okay? Something like that. And he said
about 6 weeks.
You need to get some more members for when I get back. The first person I contacted then was Jim. We know each other from school. In the same circle of friends. Jim's a bit older than me, but
still is.
Yeah, still is. And then so I asked him, I said, we were just messing about with Summit, looking at forming a band. You want to come and play? So then Jim came and he brought his mate Mike, who's also in our circle of friends, to play bass, and Nick to play drums. And then all of a sudden, we kind of had this initial lineup. Didn't last for various reasons, but it kind of evolved and we grew, and then we got Honcho on the bass because our friend didn't want to do it anymore. Wasn't really that serious about it. So we got Honcho in on bass. We put an advert on the internet, and then Nick had to leave because he had wrist issues.
Okay.
So then after that, we spent quite a while looking for a new drummer.
We had a time where we had different drummers coming in just to cover gigs and stuff like that. Yeah. And then Adam actually came to a couple of the gigs, didn't he? Seen the advert that we posted up on social media. Came to a couple of the gigs, really liked the stuff, and introduced himself. And had him over for a practice a few times, and the rest is history. Here we are.
Well, to be fair, if Adam approached you, you would say yes to anything because he's a big fucking. Sorry, Adam.
Yeah.
I was going to say, so you were a fan of the band and you were delighted when they asked you to play, though. But I bet they still made you audition twice.
Yeah, we did.
It was quite a while.
No, good.
To be fair, he came in and he just learned like 4 or 5 songs straight off the bat, didn't he? It was just
yeah.
It
was difficult though because that's when lockdown hit.
Yeah.
Obviously, he'd seen us at the last couple of gigs before lockdown kind of happened, and then so it was difficult trying to really get the wheels moving with it because couldn't do anything, could you? So.
Yeah,
but we persevered, and I suppose that downtime kind of helped in a way with bringing a new member in. And I'm of the opinion that the drummer is probably the most important person in any band.
Adam would probably agree with you.
You really, any band really does need the right person behind that kit.
Yeah.
So having that extra time, I think, probably actually worked in our favour in the end. I mean, we're all over the moon with Adam now, so
yeah. Well, I saw the way that he drank his beer there. He finished a whole pint in one sip there, but
that sounds about right. Yeah,
that's the Polish power there.
But Adam, because you were able to pick up the songs so quickly, is this experience from past bands that you've been in? Had you been in numerous bands before, and this just seemed like the right fit for you, or is this your first opportunity, or where did you come from?
Too fast, mate. Sorry.
It's a Scottish accent, is it?
Understand the word that we say either.
Yeah. So Adam's from Poland, and when he first joined us, he could barely speak a word or understand a word of English.
Nothing.
Yeah. But you were in a band in Poland, weren't you?
Me?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have one band, so in Poland, so with my friends, but everything is gone. So I come here to my wife, and we live now here. So
yeah,
I need more bands, new bands. So.
What was the band like in Poland? Was it like was it extreme metal you were playing?
I don't know. This is progressive metal. I don't know. This is I don't know how explain this. What we do. So
yeah,
I don't.
Is it like decapitated? Or is
more
it like
metal? You know.
You're a big Meshuggah fan, aren't you, Adam?
What?
You're a big Meshuggah fan.
Yeah. Meshuggah, Lamb of God. Yeah, something like this.
Yeah, cool.
More power.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're going to talk about that soon. We're going to come back to you, Adam, soon. But Callous Hands have just released a second EP, Trapped in Animated Flesh, last week. So how does it feel to finally release it after all the blood, sweat and tears that you put into it?
Yeah, it feels good.
It's one of them, like, finally, yes.
Yeah.
It feels like that for me.
Do you know the number of interviews that I've done? Everybody's just saying the same things. There's just delays after delays, and whether vinyl and stuff like that. I mean, you would have needed to give them the album this time last year to get it out in vinyl now, that type of thing. But everything was just put to a standstill. The only good thing about it is everybody was in the same boat as you. It's not as if you guys are like 2 years behind everybody or anything like that. So, so when would you say that you actually had it ready?
It was ready before Christmas. It was wasn't it ready? But we had the songs ready before we played Bloodstock last year.
Wow. Yeah, we had the master back before we played Bloodstock last year. So we're coming up on a year. But then the artwork took a bit of time, and then it was about getting everything right. We knew that we wanted to do some singles and some music videos, so it's putting the thought into those. But it's only just been over 2 years since we released Earth Mover, so we wasn't really in a rush because we knew we kind of had a bit of time. 2 years between releases is pretty acceptable.
Yeah. Again, it's another argument, or not an argument, a discussion I have with like bands, like an older generation of bands, they like doing their album, couple of years album, whereas younger generation, like Pertula of Ruin, for example, they like doing couple of months single, because they feel that it keeps their name out there. You're eager for more. But I just like the whole package, the artwork, the lyrics, the pictures, and everything like that. It's a double-edged sword. You just don't know what's best to do for the band.
And I think that's why we've sort of taken out a couple of singles before the full release as well, because at least it kind of staggers the release a little bit more, and it keeps that excitement, Trapped, and then the Greater Unknown came afterwards, and then the full release. So it kind of works, really.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. But I've just got a very, very simple question. Why did you call the EP Trapped in Animated Flesh? Because I think, well, there's no song called that, right? But if you were to ask a metal fan, what would you think Trapped in Animated Flesh would be? They would automatically think it's a death metal record, but you guys are far from death metal. Yes, there are elements of it. But so what made you choose that song title? Did somebody just say it and go, oh, that's the album title? Or how did you come to it?
It's a lyric in one of the verses in Trapped. So Trapped, the single, was we were kind of struggling. You wanted to call the song Trapped in Animated Flesh, didn't you? I said, I've got a better idea. Why don't we call the EP Trapped in Animated Flesh, and then just call the song Trapped, because it's a bit more punchy.
Yeah.
More to the point. And if we're going to use that as a single, which at that point we were eyeing that up for a single at that point, I just thought it's a bit less of a mouthful for a single, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The lads liked the idea, so that's where we went with it. That's what we went with, yeah.
Yeah, because it's not far from like a Cannibal Corpse song, you know what I mean? But also for us, for me doing my radio show, Trapped is a hell of a lot easier to say than Trapped in Animated Flesh. So I do thank you for that. No, that's cool. I'll just when an EP or an album title stands out, I'll just like to ask the question as to why you got it. So although this is your second EP, were the thoughts of it ever being an album on the back of the couple of the singles Trapped and The Great Unknown that you've already released? Or was your chosen choice of release always going to be an EP and get the name of Callous Hands out there?
Well, I think it was always going to be an EP, to be honest. It was always going to be an EP. When we released Earth Mover, that was 3 tracks. Yeah. And I remember reading a lot of the reviews from that. And most of the reviews said, oh, we want more. It doesn't feel long enough. So I think off the back of that, we kind of set out to
make a longer EP that was a bit more in depth and really expanded on some of the elements that we touched on and learned what works well for us during the writing and recording process for Earth Mover.
Yeah.
And just took things a little bit further, tried to add a few new elements into it. And then it ended up with Trapped and Animated Fresh.
Yeah. So you've got five songs in this EP. How, James or Jim, I've already got another few names for you already. How quick songwriters are you? Like, did you maybe have the 5 songs that you're happy with, but there was already maybe 2 or 3 songs that were 3/4 full? Do you think?
So with me, I actually struggle with more of the songwriting, and it kind of works how Eddie has has a concept, and he'll kind of say, right, Jim, write something here for this bit, and I'll go, yeah, that sounds good, and I'll write something there, and then I'll come back band practice, and here, I've got this, we'll play it. 9 times out of 10, I forgot it by the time we get to band practice, but we get there.
My favourite one's to set you up with a nice lead, isn't it, Jim?
That's it, yeah.
And do a nice little platform and go, yeah, there's some room here for a nice lead guitar. Take it away.
That's it. We just, and then, you know, a lot of the time as well, I do just write a lot of riffs and then meet the lads up and just play them, and they say, oh, that bit, do that bit, or, you know, what's that? And that's my songwriting, yeah.
Well, at least it contributes something to the band, guys. But Kyle, do you bring
not just a pretty face?
Do you bring like bass solos? You're just trying to get like half a dozen bass solos on the EP, aren't you?
I think from my learning curve, really, from the first EP, is less is more. I sort of, from somebody that was a guitarist previously, I started picking up the first EP, as if I was playing, you know, the guitar, trying to do sweep solos and all that kind of stuff that, you know, it just didn't sound right in the mix. So I think I've had to sort of concentrate more on, you know, becoming a better bass player rather than, you know, just picking up a bass and planning on playing it like a guitar. So it's taken a bit of time and some listening to loads of different types of music, really, to try and get some influences in, because I mean, I remember putting in lots of sort of Les Claypool kind of stuff previously, and that, you know, it kind of, it fits in the mix, but you need to sort of, you know, tone it down a little bit, really.
You said it stays in the mix and stuff like that, but the 4 guys went,
yeah, exactly.
I thought the video was turned off.
I suppose the good thing with writing with Neil is that he listens to the mix. He doesn't listen to like each individual person, and he sort of looks at me and goes, that's not going to work. And then I get to the stage where I go, yeah, okay, I actually agree, and I need to take some time, really, to sort of work upon that and sort of learn from what's happened previously. And this is how you grow as a musician, isn't it, really?
Absolutely. But it actually sounds like, seeing the live front, it sounds as if even Adam moves more around the stage than you do, because I think you're concentrating so much on playing the right notes and things like that, because you know the other guys are watching you. You know their work.
100%. And you know, it's a difficult thing when you have such such aggression in a lot of the riffs and things like that. You know, getting through bass strings, trying to keep up with the guitars, bloody hell, it takes a lot out of your hands and a lot of you know, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, 100%. I've always got my head literally bowed down, my hair covering my eyes, because, you know, I look quite menacing, but realistically, all I'm doing is just trying to concentrate and not fucking up.
Oh, fair play, man, fair play. But yeah, so for those that haven't got hold of the EP yet, how would you say Trapped in Animated Flesh compares to your early material, in particular the debut EP, Earth Mover? Because I imagine that now with new members coming into the band, they've added their own personal touches to the songs as well. So do you think you've found the sound that you've been looking for with this new material?
Yeah, definitely. I think we've took what we knew we wanted to do. We've always had an idea of like where we wanted it to go and how we want things to sound, but I think we've just like kind of understood ourselves and how we go about making the songs and writing the songs and structuring it, and it's just more, I suppose. We've just delved into it.
I think we've had the time since the first release to really gel together a bit more, and kind of there's more of an understanding there about which way we want to go, what we're trying to achieve. Like, so if I come to the lads with a certain riff, a certain idea for a certain section of a song, and I'm like, I want to do this, there's a much clearer understanding about what I'm trying to tell them. Like they get it a lot more like instantly. Like, I don't necessarily have to explain it. I just be like, oh, we need to go with this, but obviously it needs to be bigger and better and different.
Would it be fair to say the happiest that you've been in the band?
Yeah. I think we're in a good place right now. Definitely.
Good. I was going to ask you, Jim, there for something. I forgot what question I just bloody asked you. Do you know that? So I've put myself on the spot here. Yes, aye. So, Jim, like, how would you say, like, being another guitar player, how would you say the riffs are different from that of the debut EP? What do you think's changed? Was it maybe COVID? You've maybe listened to more different styles of music, and you're bringing that into your sound, or what do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a bit more melody now in this new EP. Than a lot more just hard hitting riffs all the time. There's definitely still hard hitting riffs in it. I don't know really. I mean, I listen to a massive range of music. I know that's, everyone says that, but everything from metal to trance and drum and bass, everything. So that side of things. I don't know if that helps me writing, but maybe learning new chords and especially in the lockdown, I started learning a bit more theory, understanding scales a bit better, understanding certain chords and things like that. So that's definitely helps, but
yeah,
especially in the new stuff, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, cool. So it's easy for you guys because you'll have like your instruments and you can just pick them up and just knock out riffs and things like that. But how was it for you, Adam, during the period where you couldn't go into a studio and practice? Do you have an electric drum kit in the house?
Yeah, I have electric drums, so I practice in home. I take everything to my home, check everything, every riffs, every beats, everything, and try thinking what's the better, much better, and writing on computer, simulator, drums, and later I try play this. So not everything play. So yeah. But,
also sounds. Sorry, carry on, Adam.
What?
Carry on.
Yeah. And that's all. I record this and send lads, and he say it's good or not. So if it's good, it's good. Or when it's not good, I try something change, but.
I thought you were going to say if he says it's not good, you just punch him and then he'll say yes, it's good.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Don't give him any ideas.
After listening to Adam there, it sounds as if he's the hardest one to please in the band. Would that be right?
Once again, please.
You're the hardest one to please. You're the moody one in the band. You always go in a huff.
He's the perfectionist.
No, he's a
perfectionist.
A very methodical approach, which you kind of need with this kind of music.
You want a feel for the just the general groove. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just want to place a part in the song. You just need a general feel.
Yeah.
And so you can go from one section to the next. And they'll be there going, no, it's got to be perfect. And we're like, no, just give us a general beat. Just give us something loose. just so we can see how it fits into the song. And oh, it must be perfect. No, it doesn't at
this point. Good stuff. Good stuff. Right, thanks very much for that, guys. But what I don't know about the EP then is where it was recorded, who produced, mixed, and mastered it for you then?
We recorded it with Neil Hudson at Initiate Audio and Media.
Okay. That's what you done for the last EP as well, was it?
Yeah. He's great to work with. He gets our sound.
Yeah, we liked what he did for us, didn't we?
Yeah. It works really well.
What was his name, sorry?
Neil Hudson.
I asked that because I bet with you being the vocalist, when he was asking you for more, you called him different names than Neil. I bet he was saying things like, you can do more. Was he like that? Was he pushing you quite a bit?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of had a good idea of where I wanted things to go anyway by the time we got in there to put the vocals down. Because I write the vocals. I've got an idea of like rhythm lines and kind of placements and stuff like that, and you know what pitch I'd like to go at in different parts. And by the time we actually get to standing in front of the microphone and doing it, I've got a good idea, and Neil kind of gets that, and then it just like he knows where I'm trying to go with it, and he'd be like, "Go on, give it a bit more, like, go a bit low, go a bit lower here, or fucking really push that one and hold it."
It's good when it comes to when I get in there to do my backing vocals, and sometimes like he'll just pick up on a line that we didn't even think about, like me doing at all, and he'll be like, "Ed, go and do a pterodactyl here."
Yeah, shriek.
That's what he says.
It's when he comes out and says things like, "Do you maybe want to do that again?" And that's when you're like, "What?" It just keeps on pushing and pushing you. But I mean, you got the results that you were happy with. So fair play to Neil. But is there anything about the way that you recorded Trapped in Animated Flesh that you'll continue to use? And that maybe you've got a settled formula? Or are you quite open to finding new studios, new experiences? Or do you think that you've got a formula that you're happy with and you'll just stick with it just now?
I think we're at the point where we're kind of that happy with the way that we work with Neil and what Neil does for us that we haven't even discussed going anywhere else.
Yeah.
But Neil's always ahead of the game anyway. Each time he said to us, "Oh, we'll do this differently next time. We'll do that differently next time. I've got a good idea for when you're trying to do such and such. This is how we'll do it next time." Because each time we've kind of attempted new things. Because on the outro to Fractured Worlds, I had this acoustic guitar, and that's all it was going into the studio. And I was like, "Oh, it needs to be more than just an acoustic guitar, though." So I took a whole bunch of instruments in with me. We ended up putting a mandolin on it, and then the lead guitar is actually slide, not pedal steel guitar, but bottleneck style slide guitar.
Yeah.
So
cool.
And you know those sort of things Neil hadn't recorded before. You know, no one had walked into a studio going, "Oh, I want to do this," because it's not a very metal thing to do. But personally, I do have those country influences, and not trying to make it country at all, but just thinking, you know, these different ideas, we could at least have a play with it and see where it goes.
We wanted to expand on the soundscape, and Neil was brilliant with like on Earth Mover, I think it was orchestrated primal screams in the chorus. He said, "Oh, why don't you put was it an acoustic guitar in the back of that?"
Just strumming a chord. You know, it was like just strum the chord on an acoustic guitar, and we're going, "What?" Going, no, just trust me, just do it. And he put some effects on it, a load of reverb, and put it really low in the mix. It was like you won't even notice it's there. But I tell you what, it makes such a massive difference. I mean, obviously we heard it before, and then hearing it after, you can't hear it without it now. You just think, "Oh, that sounds crappy like that
Yeah.
The one thing just to say about Neil as well is he's a grafter, man. Like we got there early in the morning. Like we drove down hour and a half
Been
to
up
get down
all
there.
night.
And we were there till late. Like he was like, "No, I ain't going to bed yet. You know, we're gonna nail this bit. We're gonna nail this bit." And then when we do finally leave, he's texting us and he's like 3 a.m. He's like, "Yeah, I've just finished mixing this now." I'm like, "God, it's like you know, back in the morning and he's up again, like you know." So fair play to him on that.
Yeah, he kind of lives and breathes it, doesn't he? Really.
Well, Jim, I'm actually glad that you spoke there, because what I took from what Eddie said there, when he said that he carries all these instruments into the studio, I heard you saying to yourself that he doesn't do that when his bloody gigs were playing here. He doesn't carry any. So that's what I saw in your face there. But that is leading on nicely to ask you the question, how you found the recording of the album. How was it for you? Did it take you a good few goes before you were happy with your performance? Was there a song that had to be recorded over and over again? So Kyle, we'll just start off with you, because it's the bass. It's probably the easiest. Nobody notices anyway on the live front.
Yeah, no, recording studio is brutal. You know, it's one of those that, you know, all of you playing is under a microscope, and yeah. If you carry on fucking up, it just gets you down after a while. So it's just one of those, especially with the multi-instruments, you know, like we were saying with the mandolin, and you know, for me, I put in some of the piano work at the start of the EP as well, and you know, it was a different sort of process for me, because you know, I don't really play piano, and I've never played piano on a record before, so it was a bit of a unique one for me, really.
Yeah. You can play it the best.
That was the best recording you did.
Yeah.
But it's like you say, Kyle, like with you being the bassist, when you're in your practice sessions and your rehearsals and stuff like that, maybe the other guys don't really hear you making a mistake, but when you're in the studio, everybody's watching you. You know, you're standing there, you're all alone, you're the centre of attention. So I'd imagine it must be a wee bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. We don't get isolated very often. And I think from the bassists that I've met in the past, most of them are introverted and not very comfortable with their own shadow. So getting in front of a studio monitor and getting all mixed and stuff like that, you know, you're out of your comfort zone completely.
Well, look at the outcome, though. That's what you've got to think of. You've got your name, you've got a credit on an EP, and a very, very good EP it is that. But how was it for you, Jim? How was the recording experience? Was there a couple of tracks that you were a wee bit fidgety with? How was it for you?
Yeah, definitely. There were some riffs that were really difficult. It kind of makes you realise how bad you're actually playing the riffs until you really get in there and start.
That's what the other guys told me as well.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, you know, you don't hear the small bits until you really kind of play it over and over and over again. He's going that little bit there, and you think, oh yeah, that's it, you know. But yeah, there's definitely a few riffs that were difficult, and you know, after a long day, your fingers are burning after, you know, playing all the time, and
made it difficult because I had COVID for the first 2 days of recording.
Well, yeah, that didn't help.
And I read a lot of the actual like foundational riffs for the songs, and then Jim's got to go in there, and because the way that we record, Adam lays down all his tracks first, which is fine, and then normally I lay down the foundations of the riffs, which is, you know, kind of how it's written.
Yeah.
But I wasn't able to go, so Jim had to step up to the plate. And I tell you what, man, you've done a good job.
Yeah. Sorry, down. Is
that the first time he's ever give you a compliment?
That was a good day.
But when I was able to get in there, though, you know, it wasn't like there was a massive hole to fill. I just got to go in there and do my thing.
Yeah.
Because the other thing is, normally, like with two guitarists, it's a lot easier, because when you're tracking guitars, if I'm getting tired, then Jim can track some of his bits, and then we can swap and we can have give each other a break. But this time round, it didn't quite work out like that.
How long did you have to record it?
We booked initially 5 days on Neil's advice, but then we done the 5 days. We had a record, but after listening to it a few times over, was like, no, I think we can go back. I think there was a general feeling that we could go back and just touch up this, touch up that, and just make it a bit better. So we've done an extra day in the studio, touching up some of the vocals, we've done the outro on Fractured Worlds at that point, because that's when it was just the acoustic guitar. What else did we do? I think we put a couple of leads in, a bit of guitar work in there. So we definitely paid off.
Yeah, you couldn't be happier with the output. But Adam, something tells me that you recorded the whole EP in half an hour. One take.
Who hasn't? Yeah, he just goes in and nails it, man.
He just nailed it,
yeah. He really did. He'll tell you different, but he did.
How was it for you, Adam?
I won't agree with you, but that's what happened.
For me, it's simple. I go record and go back.
So it must have been great. You were in the studio for like half an hour and you're like, I'll see you next week, boys. And they were in the studio for 6 days.
No, he stays there drinking the Tisky.
Yeah. And sleeping.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. But Kieran, how is it for you? Because like I said earlier, these guys can pick up their guitars, and Adam's got his electric drum kit and things like that. How was it for you? Like, I know COVID was a wee bit a while ago now, but how did you keep your vocals in check? I don't know whether you sing in the car and you sing in the shower or something like that. How was the recording experience? Was it like you could only do like a song at a time because you found it hard in your throat? How was it for you?
I mean, we pretty much. So I had the last day, obviously, and we pretty much got just churned through them. To be honest, I just picked like.
It's interesting how you done it all on the last day, because I speak to other vocalists and they do like half a day. They couldn't do a full day. It's just too much. Maybe it's like death metal, but I mean, you're not that far away from death metal growls, and you do some. But they can only do like 2 or 3 bits at a time, just to spread it. But you done it all in one day.
Yeah, the majority of it in one day, and then obviously we went back. It was like a month later, wasn't it? Something like that.
Yeah.
And then we just like, it was literally like layering bits, and we put a few more lines in here and there when we'd had time to listen to it and really absorb it. And we were like, no, we want to add bits in here and there. So, but in terms of like recording the vocals, I've never really struggled with it. Like I do a bit in the car. So if I'm ever in traffic and you're next to me, you'll hear it. But
some vocalists I speak to as well, they use things like Vocal Zone or anything like that, or some other vocalists say they have like 20 fags and 6 cans. What do you do your? I don't know whether you've got a routine like you do your do re mi fa sol la ti dos or something like that, or what did you do?
I do a little bit of warming up and just make sure I've drunk. Like definitely if we're going into a studio, I'll like drink a lot of water and just keep chugging the water. And I've got ginger, honey, lemon tea on top.
Lemon and honey tea.
Yeah. I'll just keep churning them out, and I'll have a sips of that and a bit of water. And like when it gets towards like mid-afternoon, then I'll like have a little beer, but I tend to stay off it until I'm done.
Yeah. So that's why you like being an opening band of the night, so that you can spend the rest of the night having a beer.
It's chestnut checkers.
But we're going to talk about the visual side of the album, the EP, for a couple of questions. Have you thought about doing another video release for any of the songs of the album? I mean, I know that you've released Trapped and The Great Unknown, but do you have plans for doing any more, or is that the conclusion, do you think?
I think we're just concentrating on writing at the minute, aren't we? We're writing a bit more.
Doing another one, but
I think we've mentioned the idea of maybe doing another one, but it's literally just been that a brief like, oh, should we do another one? We haven't actually sat down and went, go on then, let's do another one. I think we'd like to, but it just comes down to budget and time, and all the real world things that get in the way. But we'd love to. I think we'd all. I mean, I'd love to do a video for every song we do. It would be great.
Now, it's having the ideas as well for the video.
As I was going to ask, like, who's got the idea? Who's the one that's got the visual side of things in his head? Who's the ones that comes up with ideas as to how they're going to pan out?
So you
that's been a bit of a mix. That's been a bit of a mix.
Yeah.
Especially for the Great Unknown. That I felt that was a good group effort. That was.
Yeah, it was definitely.
So I spotted I eyed up some locations and said to Kieran at band practice the one day, look, I've got the map up. I said, I want to check here, and here. And he goes, all right, let's go Sunday then. So that's what we've done. Pouring down the rain. Took a 2-year-old daughter with us.
I'm glad. I'm glad that you brought the Great Unknown up in the conversation, because I do have a couple of questions regarding that video. Right. So the Great Unknown was a great video, but I do have a couple of questions. Like I said, first of all, with Adam being the drummer, I was thinking when I saw him behind his drum kit, I was thinking like he was like Gene Hoglan, you know, like of Death, you know, and I was expecting blast beats. But then in the first 30 seconds, it was just all the atmosphere, the melody and the riff and everything like that. And then Adam came in and all he did was boom. I went, what? Is that it? I thought he would have came in, just the size of him, I thought he would have came in like a wee blast beat or something like that. No, but I was quite surprised with that. I was quite surprised. But can I say, Adam, you made it up on the rest of the song. So fair play to you, sir. You do hit that snare very hard, and I do feel sorry for that snare drum. But how was it doing the video for you guys? Was it a long day? I mean, how many times did you have to do the song before you were finally happy with the performances?
The day itself wasn't. It was fine. The longest part was getting all the kit up there.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Because it must have been like a pain in the arse for you, Adam. Did you actually get any help from any of the members of the band? Because they must have been like carrying their guitars and stuff like that. And I can see Kieran saying, oh, this microphone's heavy, you know. So how
Adam carried me up there.
How many trips back to the van did it take to bring your drum kit up?
Too much.
And then you do a 3-minute song, and then you've got to carry it back down the hill again.
Everyone helped me, so it's a really good band. So
yeah, cool.
I'm happy.
Save your fucking energy.
Yeah.
But
you two stay down that hill again.
But I do have a concern about that video. I'm actually really quite concerned about this, because at the end of the video with the guy sitting down at the tree, have you left him there? Did you bring him back?
He's still there.
He's still there.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was a cool video. So who put the video together for you then?
Damien
John.
You used him before?
Well, he's one of the top photographers around Birmingham. And we know him personally after he shot so many of our gigs. And the one gig that he shot, he after the gig, he was like, "Oh, I've done this video, right? You know, I don't want any money for it. I'm just like got a new camera and trying it out. Like this 1 minute like clip of film.
I saw it earlier, yeah.
And and he was like, "You just have it, like, you know, just trying it out." And we go, "Yeah, it's fucking sick, man." So
and at the time, we were still debating. Yeah. You know, we were debating about who to use.
Just do the video.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the first time Damien's done a full video as well, isn't it? Like a proper music video, I believe.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously it was good for him as well. He enjoyed doing it. We had a good day, didn't we? Good laugh.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah.
I suppose the thing is, for a music video, it's such an expensive venture that you want it to be in safe hands.
Yeah.
And Damien, there's no safer than Damien really for us because he's worked with us so much. We know all of the quality of his pictures and his videography, and he's done us a solid, really.
Yeah, he just got it as well. As soon as we took him to the locations and said, "This is the general gist," I mean, he just got it. And when we got that video back, that was the first edit of that video. We didn't even bother going back to him saying, "Oh, we want to change this, change that." There was nothing, none of that. Just straight away, the bloke just got it.
Yeah.
I remember the day afterwards, he said on his social media that I've been working on a project and it's the proudest I've ever been. And I thought, if Damien's proud of it, by the time that we get it, it's going to be fantastic. And it wasn't wrong,
No. Excellent guys. But I think in the video, the only person that didn't mime and still giving a shit was Adam, because he was still knocking shit out of his drums on that video, whereas you guys were miming. But Jim, how easy or difficult was it to do that guitar solo with no sound?
No, it was all right, to be honest with you. I've played it that many times now practicing. It's pretty much like nature. So
yeah,
but it was weird. It was weird. I mean, we had the song obviously playing in the background as well, so that kind of obviously helps out a lot. But it would have been nice to have some earphones or something. Yeah.
No, there's no chance we were carrying up a generator and the amps.
That's it.
No chance.
No.
Yeah, we saw the line
getting bit to death. Bit to death by mosquitoes. Other than that, it's all right.
Cool, guys. Listen, I've got like half a dozen questions left. I really do thank you for your time and everything. But we're going to continue with the visual side of the album. We're going to talk about the artwork for a second. So who done the cover art for you?
Dan Wynne Jones, his name is. Sketchworks Designs.
Sketchworks Designs,
yeah.
So
he's done all of our artwork, hasn't he? I think.
Yeah.
He's done the artwork. Right.
Yeah. So what was it you gave him? Like, did you give him the whole album? Did you give him the lyrics to one song? What did you tell him? This is what's in my head. Did you give him a drawing? This is what I want you to do, or what was it?
He didn't hear anything.
Do you know, 4 people said things at the same time and I didn't catch one of them? So Eddie, what idea did you give the artist to draw?
So we drew up a rather crude picture on a whiteboard. And
Stickman.
And there was a stickman in there. And we sent it over to him and said, we want this, but not quite like that.
I don't recall it looking like a stick man head, but carry on.
Let's put it that way. So anyway, we sent that over to him, and I said, "Well,
we kind of gave him an idea of like different like rings of."
We had a brainstorm, didn't we?
Yeah, it was like chaotic images around, and the sense of like, falling into a pit of just basically world-ending stuff, really. And gave him that kind of a brief, and he just ran with it. It's what he always does.
Yeah,
and he ain't disappointed yet. It's been great. Yeah.
No, like Jim, did you get yourself another can of beer there?
No, sorry, but I was increasing the light, and I saw myself getting darker and darker.
But still with the cover art then, see when you got it back, again, was it first time you've nailed it? That's exactly what we want, or were there a couple of tweaks?
There were a couple of tweaks. The thing is, when we work with Dan on the artwork, there's a lot of back and forth on the tweaking.
Yeah.
But he's usually on the right path, and then we're just kind of going a bit more of that, a bit less of that, bit less of this, more of that. Maybe bring up the brightness, or just change the colour a bit, or whatever it is. So
it's hard as well because we have to be communicating over either email or like a DM or something, and it's hard to express what you're after in words sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, you do chat to him now and again, don't you, Ed? And You know, you get that feel out there. But it's definitely would be easy if we were all just there on a screen, just looking at it, going, "Oh yeah, do this, do this."
Again, you must be completely happy with the finished product again. So the boys done you a turn there, so well played. But how were the songs constructed? How were the songs constructed for the EP? Are they the main songwriters to the songs, or did all members contribute? Even Kyle, did he even contribute?
Yeah, I think definitely everyone's got an input in the song, without a doubt.
Yeah. Everyone's got. I think I usually come up with like the skeleton of the song. So usually just, I don't write any drums. I mean, you don't want to see me behind a drum kit, But
Adam wouldn't let you there anyway.
The problem is I've got like a big picture in my head usually about how this is all going to go, and because like I can't play the drums, I just can't like explain it. So I just have to play the riff to the lads, or record it in or whatever, and just hope for the best. There's a lot of like, and that's as much as they're going to get from me. Like,
is that what he brings to the band, guys? Jesus.
That's it. It's as good as it gets for them to go off. So, I try and give as much direction as I can, but at a certain point, you've just got to go, you know what, I've done my bit, lads, so I can finish it off.
But Adam, does Eddie send you a riff at 4 o'clock in the morning saying this is the best riff I've ever written, by the way? Listen to this. So Adam, do you have to wait until you hear the riffs and pretty much the structure of the song before you play your drums, or do you have your own ideas how things go?
Adam.
Yeah.
You see, it's a Scottish accent again. No, it was just like, do you get, as soon as you hear a riff from Eddie, do you know exactly how you're going to construct your drum parts? Do you have ideas already yourself? Yeah,
I try follow to Eddie, follow to something better, something different. So
do you go back to Eddie and say,
usually works shit? Usually works quite well though between me and Adam, because if I've usually got a general picture in my head about how I think it should sound, and Adam will quite often do something different, and I'll be like, I never thought of that. That works. Like, that's sick. That is. So, I like that. And sometimes, and then it's the same with the other members of the band also. Jim will come along and he'll be like, me and Adam will be playing this riff together that we've worked out, and then Jim will just play something over the top of it. I never thought about putting something over the top of that, but that worked. So I like how sometimes I'll write something and it's in my head, just this is how it needs to be, and then the lads will just come and do their own thing on it, and I'm like, it just breathes new life, and but that's what makes it Callous Hands. Yeah. Otherwise it'd just be the Eddie James project, wouldn't it? So,
well, I was actually.
You know what I mean, though.
I was actually going to say, do you welcome contributions from the band? You don't always want the pressure on yourself to create the riff.
Sometimes I'll leave entire sections. There'll be a gap in a song. There'll be like, a 30-second gap. I'll be like, lads, you need to fill this gap for me because I can't be fucking bothered with it. But then, I'm just like, nothing's working for me, or whatever it is. Or sometimes I just leave it open specifically just because I know that it will give a different element to that song.
Yeah.
If I just don't even attempt to write it, let one of the other lads do it, or whoever.
I can see it. I can see it from Jim's side as well, because I can see him saying to you, Eddie, I've got this riff for a song, and you're like, you what? You brought it. Oh, do you think so? But yeah, so no, fair play. So Kyle, what can you also play guitar as well? Do you bring riffs? Do you bring ideas as well?
Not to the complexity that Ed and Jim do. I wait until the drums are sort of pretty much written, and then the guitars are obviously sorted, and then I kind of gel it all together. Really, that's
right.
Traditional bassist. Just trying to gel it all together.
What I took from that is he does fuck all for a year, and the last 2 weeks he kind of panics.
Right, you are.
But yeah, Kieran, with you being the vocalist of the band, then do you write all the lyrics, or do all members of the band contribute to the lyrics? And what would you say some of the lyrical themes are for the EP?
I write all of the lyrics for it. Eddie will, because Eddie does backing vocals on lots of parts. Like, we tend to go for like dual vocals on choruses. That's kind of a theme that we go for, and we'll do like a bit of a call and response as well.
Yeah.
So Eddie like comes in with ideas like Suffocate, the chorus for Suffocate. Yeah, but so like we'll bounce off each other for that. But in terms of like lyrics and writing the lyrics, it's that's all on me there.
We just have a read of them, don't we?
Yeah, just read. Yes, sir.
So we'll just have a quick read of them. We'll just have a quick read of them, like, and I say, oh yeah, that sounds good.
Maybe I should have saved Kyle's comment for Kieran, because it sounds as if he does fuck all for a year and then panics when the songs are written. He's got 2 weeks before he goes into the studio. Are you the type of vocalist, Kieran, that I don't know whether you read a lot of books, you watch a lot of documentaries, or whether you've always got a pad and a pen on you, you open the front door, you see something in the street, you write it down, and then you concentrate on it later on? How do you compile your lyrics?
Well, I've got a book called The Great Thoughts, and I bought that in a bookshop in New Orleans, and I just found it on the off chance. And it's basically an encyclopedia of any, it depends if you want to find a person in history, it doesn't matter who it is. Like, this book is massive.
So it's plagiarism then? Your lyrics are plagiarism?
No. It's based off the ideas. It's called The Great Thoughts. Or if you want a subject, like what someone's talking on, then you go into the glossary and it will give you like the page numbers that whatever subject you're looking for is on these pages. And so yeah, I kind of sit down with that and think about where we've been with Earth Mover, what that was about, which was kind of loose, and then thought for this one I kind of want to really hone in on the themes of like perseverance more than anything. Because I feel like a lot of like metal falls into the category of all doom and gloom and everything's bad, and I don't really, I like that obviously, but I want to put my take on things, which is,
you want a message.
It ain't always all bad. It doesn't have to be that way. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah,
it's interesting. Like, I speak to a lot of vocalists, obviously. Like Kenny from Brain Bath, it's like a band up here in Glasgow. He says he's already got like 15 lyrics, 15 songs fully written. So he's always got them. But do you, like, have you got your next songs already written, or do you wait until you hear the music first and then fit it into the music?
I'll have like general ideas, but I won't ever like try and sit down and write something out of the blue. I'll always have to have a reference point to go off. Like, I'll get, we've got a few songs that we're writing at the moment that I've got general ideas on where I can see it going based on the soundscape of the song.
Yeah.
I don't try and fit a square in a circle hole, basically. It's not gonna, it won't work, So I'll just try and, I'll go off we'll demo it out, and then, I'll just sit down and get my books out and go for a walk and then have a write.
That's it. And also with you writing all the lyrics then, but you say that Eddie does dual vocals, but can I just say, I love a band with more than one vocalist to add so much diversity to a song.
Yeah.
When you're writing the lyrics, do you say, right, that line's going to be Eddie, and you can portray him seeing Eddie singing that? And how difficult is it for you to say, no, this is how I want you to sing these lyrics? Does he get it first time?
It's never really a problem. We've kind of like, we've got a similar vocal style, like, and I feel like whenever Eddie's got an opinion on where the vocals should be, you know, we'll just do it because you don't know until you've heard it.
You got to try everything, haven't you? Sometimes it goes right.
Yeah, and we'll say, nah, maybe not. We'll leave that at that one, and then the next time we're like, yeah, that's fucking bang on. Right, let's roll with that.
Yeah. No, cool. Right, cheers for that, guys. But I noticed that you've played a couple of gigs recently, and you did play Bloodstock as well last year. But now that the world has opened its doors to playing live again, what do you have in store for us? Where are you going to be playing? Is there anything that you can say?
We're playing Nottingham this weekend on Friday with Kenzai and Mantis Defeats Jaguar. That's at the Tap and Tumbler. Apart from that, the books are pretty open at the moment because I mean Eddie's just had another kid, so
another kid
taking it easy. So another sprog. Another sprog. Another one to the clan.
That was you. It sounds as if they're spreading rumours about you. You've got a bit of a reputation, Eddie.
Is that right?
How many do you have? But yeah, listen, I don't know if you've ventured up to like Scotland before, but when I listen to your music, I know a band that you should definitely get in touch with is Dog Tired. From Edinburgh, because they play similar music to yourselves. You might be a tad heavier, just a smidgen, but they would be an absolute band to get in touch with. I mean, there's a band, Imperium, I can't remember where they're from, but they teamed up with Dog Tired and they played Edinburgh. It might have been Newcastle or something, and they played London as well, you know, so it would definitely work. I don't know if you've ever ventured up. Not that we would let you in Scotland anyway, because we don't like you.
we was talking about it recently, wasn't we? That was, you know, we're going to start booking shows now and get the ball rolling again. And we have spoke about, you know, maybe getting on a little tour and going up and down to the UK. And
We'd
stuff.
love to.
So, yeah, we
We'd
definitely spoke about it a few times.
Yeah, well, like I said, I mean, we've also. What I've started doing is I'm part of a team. We've done like Moshville Oktoberfest. So Moshville time, like I set up the gig, I got the bands and stuff. And this year we're doing it in October again. So all going well, we'll be doing it again next year. So I'll keep in touch. But if you do venture up to Glasgow and you do play up here and you need somewhere to stay, I can recommend plenty of hotels. No, like you're welcome. No, but
we'd love to come.
Yeah, no, I mean that's why you write songs, because you don't write songs, of course, to put on like CDs and stuff like that, but you need to play them live. So I'd imagine that you're all chomping at the bit to get on the stage.
Yeah, definitely.
I think you played. Did you not play out a sellout show in Birmingham recently?
We headlined the Flapper. When was that?
February, wasn't it?
Was it
February time? Yeah.
So have you not done like an EP release show? Or is
no,
really?
Not yet.
Not yet. No.
I mean, we're going to play the EP in Nottingham this week, haven't we? But
yeah,
that'll be the first.
Yeah, well, hopefully a few more doors are open because of that. So that's cool. But all right, we're going to talk about the gig at the weekend, and I'm going to ask every single one of you. You've now got 2 EPs, so I assume that's about 8 or 10 songs that you've got for your set. What's the one that you're looking forward to playing most live? So you've got your set list there. What's the one that you're looking forward to the most? And I'm going to ask every single one of you which one and why.
I like The Great Unknown. I just feel like it's a big song for us, and we have played it live a few times, and especially some of our friends, you know, they really get into that song. But I'm really excited to play The Cycle Remains. I feel that's just massive. You know, I think we're going to open with that, and it's such a cool song to play as well.
I take it you're going to be writing the set list then. Make sure it's on first.
I think we're all in agreement with that one.
So, Eddie, what song are you looking forward to playing?
My personal favourite's Fractured Worlds.
So why is that then?
It's my baby. I've got the guitar solo at the end. It's got that doomy kind of chorus, or, that sludgy sound. Brings all the fucking energy from the verses. It's got a nice breakdown. For me, it's got everything that I love and enjoy about music.
The funny thing about that, though, is I bet it was Jim that wrote it.
You wish these.
So, Kyle,
you're stealing me ideas.
So, Kyle, what song are you looking forward to playing? And I bet it's the one with the bass solo in it.
I'm going to say Fractured Worlds again.
Yeah. So why is that?
We've used it quite often as our opener, and like Bloodstock, we're not. From what we sort of spoke about, we're not going to be using it as an opener now. I'm sort of changing up the set list a little bit, but it just, from the get-go, it just bangs heads.
Yeah.
It gets everyone, that first riff just gets everyone fucking going, and then it just picks up the pace, and there we go. What can you say? It's a cracking little first sort of 30 seconds worth of music,
Does it even get your head banging, or are you too busy concentrating where your fingers are going?
If you see the video footage from Bloodstock, it's all windmills from me. This is why I grew my hair out. I got to the stage about a year ago, and I was thinking to myself, you know what? I don't headbang enough on stage. I need to get more hair, and here we go. But this is a year's worth of length now, so it's just going to get longer and longer, and more headbangs and more windmills are coming for you.
Well, just wait. You know what's coming, because when was your age, my hair was 3 times longer than yours, but unfortunately it's went a different colour. So just to let you know what's coming. But Adam,
join us, Sancho, join us.
Just show me off, I'll do what we did.
To be fair, it's been absolutely knackering in the summer, to be honest, having this long hair.
Yeah, I saw the interview with Ian with Moshville Times at Bloodstock, and everybody was like, it's as if everybody lost 2 stone, just with the heat.
Yeah.
But Adam, what song do you look forward to playing live?
Trapped. Yeah, this is for me. Really good.
So why is that?
Yeah, I like this.
It gives us a whipping.
It's from start and from the end is anytime is power for me. So yeah.
Are you wanting to bring more speed into the band? Like, are you wanting to play faster sometimes?
Yeah, sometimes I need something faster, but no, I am too old for this.
Something tells me when you're playing a gig, everybody hates him. He's a bastard because he speeds up the songs.
Sometimes we look at each other at band practice going, what the actual fuck's going on here?
Help.
Oh, good stuff. Thanks, Adam. Thank you, Adam.
Yeah.
But Kieran, is there a particular chorus that you like singing more than the others? What's your favourite song?
I've got to say Fractured Worlds. I've got to say that one.
It's mostly an instrumental, so you do fuck all.
I don't know about that. It's that one for me. The first time I heard it, I was like, yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Yeah, it's just everything. The chorus is massive at the start, and then when the verses come in, it's just fast and hard hitting, and I like that. I like dipping into that, and then it's just brilliant. I love that. I love playing that one live. It's a lot of fun.
It is bouncy. Bouncy.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully I'll get to see it live one day. Not on YouTube or anything like that. Get to see it face to face. But you've been recently signed to the growing DC Sound Attack for a while now. So how did that come about? How's the relationship been so far? And what do you hope DC Sound Attack will bring to Callous Hands?
How did that come about?
Well, this is more for the sort of pushing the EP we use DC for. We haven't kind of signed anything monthly to get gigs and shows and stuff like that. It's just kind of like an EP campaign.
Yeah.
But it's been good. I mean, communication wise, we've been back and forth with all sorts. It got us loads of reviews, you know, pushing obviously this interview as well. You know, we have been thinking about, you know, getting some shows with them guys and maybe joining the attack. But
it's quite funny. It's quite funny that we got this interview because we both don't really like him, do we? No, he's a good guy. I've got a lot of time for Dan. I've interviewed Dan as well. He's a good guy. He's in it. He's in it for everybody. You know, he's not in it for himself. He wants every band that he's got on his roster to succeed. But because I take it like you've kind of got like a few DIY aesthetics, like do it yourself or die, you know. But he kind of like ties it all together. I think he gets you the bookings for gigs, he gets you the reviews and stuff like that. He kind of takes the business side of the band away from you guys as much as possible, and he'll deal with it, you know.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm on to my last question. So I know that he's saying thank fuck, but this is probably going to start another 40-minute discussion, I'm afraid. Because I'm going to ask about the instruments that you used in the recording of the EP. So as you are top left, Jim, I'm going to start off with you. What was your guitar? What was your pedals? What was your amps? What was your setup?
So for recording, I used the LTD 401. And we actually, me and Eddie, we both went through a Kemper. So we tweaked about and had a play and got our sound through a Kemper.
This is EV8 sound there, wasn't it?
Yeah, we used an EV8 sound.
5150.
Yeah, it's 5150. Metal Boogie cab. And then pedal wise, we had a couple of wahs, a boost here and there. But that was it really. We kind of keep it pretty straightforward, to be honest.
Yeah. What did you tune yourselves to?
Drop B.
So what were you before then? Now, just when we were talking off air, you were saying that you were on previous stuff before. Did you have to change your tuning and stuff?
I mean, yeah, I think the first time I've played in Drop B before was when I started with Callous Hands. So I was either C sharp or C. So
when we started, we were in C. We were in Drop C, weren't we? And then
yes, we was. Yeah, yes, we
decided to drop it to B for whatever reason. I think we just wanted a bit of a lower sound, but without going too far.
Lower is better. Can I just say?
Exactly. Yeah.
Thanks very much for that, Jim. Thank you, Eddie. Same question to you, sir. What was your guitar?
I play an Epiphone Les Paul with the Zach Wild pickups in it, the EMG pickups. We went through the same cab and head. I think the only thing I added to the EP was my wah pedal. I use a Vox wah pedal.
Okay.
So I use that. Yeah.
See, when I look at the both of you, though, I bet yours is the 7-string guitar.
No, neither of us is 7-string.
Oh, sorry, I just saw you as a show off and stuff like that. I bet you wouldn't even use this. Anyway.
We were thinking about 8 strings and we went, no.
Well, you know.
I'm a Les Paul.
If you went 8 strings, then you're going to start singing about knights and swords and dragons and stuff.
Well, I wouldn't mind that.
That sounds cool.
Cool. Thanks very much for that, Eddie. Thank you. Kyle, you're next. You're next on my screen. So what was your bass? What was your setup, mate?
Yeah, sure. So I used the NG2 Dingwall. Second position on the tone capsules, just a nice sweet spot. And I use a dark glass, just dark glass through and through. So it's version 1 of the dark glass series, Microtubes 900. into their stock 410s, 410 cabs that they brought out a few years ago that weighed an absolute ton, and then the year afterwards had the lightweight model came out, and I was absolutely.
Something tells me that you're the geek of the band. I bet you're the one with 40 pedals on stage.
Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing. I know. Do you know something? I knew I was right. You have absolutely nothing. I bet you have one string on your bass guitar because you're concentrating that much not to get it wrong. You're like, what was that Danish band? Dad, he had 2-string bass. I bet you that's you. So there you go.
Yeah, no. It's a tried and true formula, Dingwall and Darkglass. You speak to any bassist in modern metal, they do the job.
Yeah. No, agreed. Thanks very much, Kyle. Adam, you're next on the list. So, what's your drums? What cymbals do you use? Your drum setup. What do you use?
My drums is Mapex Saturn series and main cymbals series, classic, something like this.
Okay.
And pedal axis, long but bitter. So snare is Black Panther, the same like Mapex.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I was going to ask about your snare, actually. Did you have to like tweak it to get the sound that you wanted, or was it quite straightforward when you were recording the album? Was the snare? Were you happy with the snare sound?
I need something more power,
I knew he was going to say that. I was waiting for the word. I knew he was going to say power.
I am happy, but I need something more better, better sound, better everything better,
Well, what about your?
Can I just say here that when we went into the studio, Neil said that's the best sounding drum kit I've ever heard in my life. I spent about 2 weeks tuning it every single day, and now Adam's sitting here going, "Oh, it could be better." It's absolutely typical.
He tuned it to perfection.
Yeah. I am.
It was beautiful.
I am happy, but I need every time something better. That's me. That's me.
You know something? He's got the perfect attitude, because you can't stagnant. He's got the perfect attitude. But Adam, I bet your drumsticks are like tree trunks. Like, how heavy are your drumsticks, and what make or drumsticks do you use?
I don't have a techniques. I try something learning techniques, but not.
Adam,
I don't have a
What sticks?
5 eyes.
Sticks.
Yeah. What's the name? Sticks? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Ah, sorry. Promark.
Cool.
Yeah.
What weight?
Yeah.
What weight?
Weight.
5A.
Yeah.
Something. Yeah.
Right. Cool. I thought it was just, I don't know, I was wondering how many Jack Daniels and Coke I've had in this interview.
Yeah.
It's just the Scottish accent. But Kieran, last but not least, now I mistakenly said that Kyle was the geek of the band. I imagine you have went through various microphones until you found a microphone that you're happy with the sound of, and that's what you use to record the album. Or are you just the guy that gives me an SM58 and I'll fucking sing into it?
Yeah, you put a microphone in front of me and I'll make some noise. No, to be fair, Neil's again, when we go down there, Neil was like, "Oh, I've got this microphone," and he could be talking French to me.
It's like it's made for you.
Yeah, and I was brilliant. Like, I trust it. Let's go. Let's do it. Yeah, that's pretty much how it goes.
Well, I think that's the shortest answer I've ever had for when I ask a band member about the instrument that they used for the EP. No, you find that with vocalists though. There's been one or two that I've got that I have done their research. They've got a specific microphone to practice with, and they use it live. But the vast majority are just like an SM58. So
yeah.
But listen, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. I've thoroughly enjoyed this interview. Where can we buy this EP? What's the best way to get the EP?
Get yourself on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, anywhere you want to go. Stream it.
Yeah, we just stream it.
Can we contact you?
You can
we get in touch with the band and just say, I want the EP, yeah? Because
Facebook,
I'll tell you,
Instagram.
I went onto Bandcamp to see it. I like just do my research. I like to prep, right? I went onto Bandcamp and it's not friggin' there. So.
Nah. We haven't used Bandcamp in a while. You can probably tell.
Yes. So that was a wee subtle dig there, by the way. I don't know whether you picked up on it or not.
And we don't need to update all that, don't we?
Oh yeah. Again, this is what.
But unfortunately, that's the sign of the times now. You don't get. Yeah. I mean, you've got major acts releasing on major labels, and they do like 300 copies of CDs. Because they know that it'll take a long time to sell. Whereas you go into Bandcamp, and that's where the action is. But the thing is, you can listen to Callous Hands, or you can listen to any band and press play 6 seconds. Oh no, I don't like this, and you instantly dismiss the band and you move on to the next one. It's because there's hundreds of bands, millions of bands out there doing the same thing. So you have to stand out. But hopefully this EP will get you guys to the next level, and hopefully one day I'll get to see you on the live front, because I think you owe me a Jack Daniels and Coke. So, like I say, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you guys. And whenever you've got anything new, we'll review it from Moshville Times. I think you've got a few articles with Moshville Times. I'll play you on the radio. In fact, I'll play you on the radio on Thursday night. So, what song should I play?
The Great Unknown.
The Great Unknown. Right, okay. I shall play The Great Unknown for you guys on Thursday night. But yeah, so I'll go on Moshville Times socials. I'll go on Ricky of Moshville Times socials, Twitter, Instagram, everything, and we'll spread the word of the Callous Hands. So thank you very much for this interview, guys.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. It's been
a
pleasure.
Cheers.